Hi, everyone. Welcome back. There was some big news last night. Meghan made an appearance at Godmother's Bookstore in Ventura County in Summerlin, specifically for a live discussion with her former sorority sister, Courtney Adamo, celebrating the release of Courtney's new book called The Family Home. The event was billed as a book conversation. It was supposed to be a chance to explore themes of space, family, and joy, but true to form, Meghan took the floor in her usual style. Now, the issue is that the footage of the event is slowly being released, and it looks like it's exclusive to a paid platform called Substack. And that means there's only a limited portion of the video available on social media platforms right now. So, what I am going to show you is what's publicly available in this moment. What we'll do is go through this 4-minute clip I found and we'll just talk about it because there is a lot to say. I saw a lot of red flags and there there is a lot to say. So let's get into it. But before we begin, here's the intro. Welcome to Revealing the Narc. Join me as I highlight narcissistic traits in celebrities and public figures. Everything here is in my opinion and not professional advice. If you enjoy the analysis, please like and subscribe. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is the footage from Godmother's Bookstore last night. The lighting was terrible. I actually had to go in and brighten this a lot. So that's why, I mean, I don't know if the actual footage will be out soon or if this was from Substack that somebody else lifted. I don't know. Hopefully, in the coming days, better footage will become available. But Meghan was true to form. I'm going to start the clip and I will pause it occasionally and just offer my commentary. I would also love it if you have any thoughts to please let me know in the comments because it's just another example of Meghan taking the spotlight from someone very similar to how humanitarian Meghan spotlights her own work rather than spotlighting other people's work. So let's get into it, and here we go.
I'm so glad you guys get to meet Courtney as well. Yeah. We've been friends since college, just so you know.
Okay, I'm going to pause right there because what Meghan is doing here is trying to emphasize her relationship with Courtney. People, I mean, I'm sure people came here to see Meghan, but the event is to highlight Courtney. She needs to make herself relevant by saying, look, I've known Courtney forever. I went to college with her. We have a familiarity. I always have trouble saying that word more than anybody else in this room. So I am highly qualified to talk about Courtney. Let's continue.
And I remember seeing it on Instagram and going, is that Courtney? And they're in a minivan somewhere in South America.
Yeah. Okay, I'm pausing here because I don't know when this book was written, but allegedly Meghan didn't have social media. So the fact that she's on Instagram finding this video footage, and I also want to mention Meghan doesn't follow anybody as far as I know on social media. That means she seeks out these videos. I highly doubt that she was scrolling through reels and it just so happened her sorority roommate's reel just popped up. It just doesn't make any sense. And actually, this proves how close these two actually are, that she had no idea that her friend, in quotation marks, was on this journey in a van. I want you to notice also Courtney's language, body language. She is not comfortable with this at all. She was in the middle of speaking when Meghan interrupted her. And what I'll do is I'll rewind it a little bit so that we can watch it again.
Instagram and going, is that Courtney? And they're in a minivan somewhere in South America. Yeah. Like but it's amazing when you can find what you're able to create in a small space.
I want to pause here again really quick because you'll notice that there are these really weird transitions that are happening here. And I think this again has to do with where the footage is coming from. I feel once we get to see the unedited full version, we won't see these weird transitions. You'll also notice that sometimes when people are speaking, it doesn't show their faces and there will be photos there instead. Let's continue.
Hey, everybody. So nice to see you. And I love that we're all together and we're talking about my favorite things, decorating. Although it's not even going to be decorating, it's really going to be about, it really is the family home.
I just want to point out Meghan's exaggerated laugh there. She does this on purpose to bring the attention back to her. No one else really reacted with that type of laughter, but Meghan did.
This is our family bookstore, and I love that I get to talk to my friends, my new friend, and about a book that I found as I was going through it and looking just how intentional and all about family values that this book is about. And it was just
Again, Meghan nodding ferociously, trying to get attention. She does this all the time. When she doesn't feel part of the conversation, she does what she can to feel included. I also notice her super alert posture. She's hyper focused on the words that are being said. And I think it's because she's looking for opportunities, in my opinion, to jump in and talk. Let's continue.
I think there's a lot that people are going to take away from that. And I just want to have a fun conversation with, because we all love what we do and building our homes.
Yes.
So
Notice Meghan immediately when that woman starts talking, Meghan says yes and pulls the microphone up. She is ready to pounce and start talking. This evening also is not about Meghan. It's about Courtney.
welcome.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank
I'm
you
so
for
glad you
having me.
guys get to meet Courtney as well.
Just notice this is about Courtney, and Meghan jumps in and says, I'm so happy you guys get to meet Courtney too, making herself central to the story as usual.
We've been friends since college, just so you know.
Yeah. It's really an honor to be here and to be chatting about our book. Oh, sorry.
I made a clip of this last night because, as you can tell from the audio, Courtney's audio was not that low. And Meghan, again, needs to throw herself into the mix here, needs to draw attention to herself. So she is looking, I feel, a lot of times to criticize other people in a way that's not, doesn't look outwardly like it's criticizing, but it's meant to put you on your toes and to walk on eggshells and to feel like you're just not doing things right. And also Meghan goes and touches Courtney, and Courtney's body language, it looks like she is just not comfortable. She looks surprised by the touch. And then immediately Courtney apologizes. She says sorry. Why would she say sorry? The reason is that she feels she's done something wrong or that she's not being good enough. And Meghan was the one that pointed this out by telling her where to hold the mic. Now, there are ways to say to someone like, hey, can you lift up the mic? Or someone in the audience could have said it. What Meghan did is surpass boundaries or break boundaries. It's just not a kind thing to do. And what you'll see in the next few moments is Courtney will say sorry, and then she'll say something else. And I really have a lot of commentary about that. So let's continue and I'll get into that.
This makes me nervous.
I can hold it for you also.
Okay, I had to stop there too. I can hold it for you also. What? Do you think she's incapable? This woman, she is such a mean girl. She laughs at other people. She enjoys making sure that people know that she's the expert, and she points out flaws in other people or what she perceives as flaws when it's simply Courtney just wasn't holding the mic up. And then watch what Courtney says.
I've done so many of these, and this is
Right.
the first time I've been nervous.
And there it is. I've done so many of these, and this is the first time I'm nervous. Let's just talk about so far what we've seen. We've seen Meghan use the microphone as a symbol of control. She reaches over, adjusted Courtney's mic, and this is not about sound quality. This is what I was trying to say earlier. It's a status gesture. By trying to hold the microphone, Meghan is symbolically controlling the narrative. And by doing this at someone else's event, Meghan is trying to say, I know how this should be done. This is dominance disguised as helpfulness. And actually, you can see that that is exactly the impression that Courtney is getting, because Courtney immediately apologizes. Then Meghan says, I can hold it for you if you want. She's trying to be funny and she's trying to sound generous, but it is a power play. She is trying to position herself as the experienced I'm sorry, as the experienced professional, the one who knows the ropes, the one who knows what she's doing, and it's to make Courtney appear unprepared or timid. It's almost like saying, "Let me handle this, you're not doing it right." And then you see Courtney's response. There is nervousness there, and she says, "I've done this so many times, and this is the first time I'm nervous." This is a fascinating emotional cue. It's an admission of the power imbalance. Courtney's acknowledging that Meghan's presence changes the dynamic. And actually, it's really sad, but her comment, Courtney's comment, it almost validates that Meghan has successfully shifted the energy from Courtney's book launch to Meghan's stage. This is such a revealing moment because it really summarizes what we're seeing throughout this 4-minute clip. Let's continue.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, I love it. And I mean, I've been to your home. I've now seen so many pictures of your home. It's really great because it isn't just about necessarily decorating, but it's about the values and what was important to you. And I don't even know how you had time to do it because
Let's pause here. I do wonder I don't know how Meghan got involved in this event, but I can imagine that what this interviewer is saying, and I think this is the interviewer that may be co-owner of the bookstore, but don't quote me on that. I don't know for certain. It might be this is product placement for Meghan. This is how Meghan ties into this, and this is basically Meghan trying to throw in her business. And we'll see in a little bit how Meghan does actually reference her special that's coming out with Netflix. Let's continue.
have like 5 kids, but the different homes that you went to and your home, talk a little bit about what inspired you and what you wanted people to know when you were putting this together.
Yeah, well, I think there's so many books that you can pick up that have pretty images or can inspire you visually. I feel like when it comes to creating a home for your family, it should be a unique space that reflects your family.
Right.
I just wanted to pause there really quick because the way Meghan is looking at Courtney reminds me a lot of the CBS interview with Jane Pauley when Harry was speaking and Meghan was looking over at Harry. It's To me, it seems hyper vigilant to the words that are being said. And it's not because they're interested in what the other person is saying, or in my opinion, it's more about seeking out the opportunity to turn this around and make it about themselves. That's the impression I'm getting. Please let me know in the comments if you're getting that impression as well. Let's continue.
And we decided to sell everything, and we sold the house and took the kids out of school, sold all the stuff, and we went and traveled for what turned out to be 18 months.
And they documented all of this. I mean,
Okay, so we know then this journey lasted 18 months. And I think if we really look at the timeline, if we get more information to come out about when Courtney and her family went on this journey, we may be able to disprove how long Meghan has been on Instagram. Let's continue.
and they documented all of this. I mean, we hadn't been in touch during that period, and I remember seeing it on Instagram and going, "Is that Courtney?"
Oh, wow. I missed that part. They hadn't been in touch during that period. That's interesting. So how did Meghan stumble upon it? Perhaps it did just show up in one of her reels as she was scrolling. It just does raise some questions for me.
And they're in a minivan somewhere in
Camper
South
van,
America. But it's amazing when you can find what you're able to create in a small space when a lot of us, especially here, have a lot of, I grew up in a small duplex.
Okay, you see what happened there? Meghan is trying to sound, she's in cognitive dissonance herself, I feel, because she's talking about how it was so lovely what Courtney and her family were able to do in such a small space. And none of us that are in this room really have to worry about that because we live in really big mansions. And then I think she feels like she lost the connection to Courtney, she lost the relevance. And so she had to add, well, when I was younger, I lived in a small duplex. So I do understand this. I can connect with Courtney, and I do have valuable things to add to what Courtney is talking about, even though Courtney's the one that experienced this and wrote the book on it. Let's continue.
We all have a lot more opportunity, space, privilege, or you have a lot of open space as you did growing up on this farm. But when you have a limited amount of space, what are the practical tools that she's been able to implement for her family and for her kids?
I have a question for you, Meghan. How did this apply when you lived at Notcott? You complained about how small it was. How were you not able to do something that your dear friend from college was able to do with small spaces? How all of a sudden are you now showing appreciation for being able to build something in a small space? The hypocrisy. Let's continue.
To feel connected, when I think so much of what we're really speaking to ultimately is how do we open our doors, our hearts, and our homes, both for our own families and when we have guests, especially as the holiday season is approaching.
And there it is. Meghan had to plug her business, her venture. Of course, she wouldn't just show up to a bookstore to support somebody else. It always circles back to Meghan. There's always something that benefits Meghan. And please explain to me how this person won an award for Humanitarian of the Year.
What are those tips and those elements that you know you can translate from a small apartment as a single woman to a couple that's dating to, or when you have a full family with a lot of children? What are those practical things that you both, you're both incredible at making a house.
And she ends it all with some word salad. I feel a lot of times she speaks in word salad because there are other people that are qualified to speak, and she doesn't want to stop talking. So she just continues to speak, and we get lost in what she's saying and I think this is really important when we're communicating, especially in a setting like this, where the goal is to have a conversation, to be engaging, and to really shine light on the person whose event, whose achievement they are there to discuss and celebrate. There is something one of my old bosses said to me once, and it's part of a bigger thing, but I'll say the first part, and that is begin with the end in mind. So when you choose a goal, and now that could be a long-term goal, or that could be a communication goal that you want out of a certain conversation with someone, you begin with the end in mind. What do you want to accomplish? What is the goal of what you're saying? Meghan doesn't lead like that. Meghan doesn't think like that. Meghan thinks, how can I make this about myself? And a lot of times she doesn't know the direction that it's headed. In order to be able to say, to begin with the end in mind, you need to have direction and to know where you're going. Meghan has no idea where she's going. And I think that's why we hear so much of this word salad. Well, everyone, I want to thank you all so much for listening to this. I'm dropping this really quick. This is the first time I've done a video like this where I've just quickly gathered the footage. I did one quick watch through, and then I thought I would give a live reaction to it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I want to know everything that you thought about this. There is more coming out about this. There was a Daily Mail article that just came out, and it talked about how Meghan mentioned being barefoot and what that implies. And boy, I have found some connections that lead all the way back to the comment she made about answering the door in barefoot and in ripped jeans when she met the Prince and Princess of Wales. That video is coming hopefully in the next day or two. And I do have another surprise on the way. I am hoping to make an announcement later today in the next few hours. So I'm very excited to share with you what's coming, and I hope you like this video. If this was interesting to you, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll know every time I drop a new video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you're looking for a meaningful way to support something beyond the screen, I'd love for you to consider making a donation to the National Domestic Violence Hotline in lieu of super chats and super stickers. They provide 24/7 support and resources for people in unsafe or overwhelming situations, whether that's emotional, physical, or just hard to name. Their information is on the screen should you need to contact them, and you'll find the link to donate in the description of this video. Every little bit helps, and it means a lot. Thank you again for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.